every once in a while, we do something a little crazy here. Now, I got this idea in the comment section after yesterday's live stream. Seems a little wild, seems a little tough if you ask me, but someone wants to see a challenge of us drafting a good fantasy football team. Now, I don't know if this is level impossible. I don't know exactly how difficult this is. I've never done it before, but I'm going to try my best here, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to go over, we're going to hop in Best Ball Mania. We're going to draft a good team, not a great team. So I don't know if we're going to get the 1.5 million for first place. I don't know if we're going to only get the 100,000 for 20th place. Whatever it is, I'm assuming good team means top 20. We'll go ahead. We will hop in Best Ball Mania here, ladies and gentlemen. And there are 9 spots open as we get in this draft. And y'all know 9 is my lucky number. We are most likely going to be stuck at pick 9. I swear to God, if I get it, I'm ending this live stream right now. Okay, y'all got lucky on that one. Y'all got lucky. We're pick 6, and this challenge may look possible. And then now that we get a respectable pick and we're able to come with a wide receiver in round 1. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming, hanging out with us. Love this question. OC says 1,000 likes for a full pad stream. I do not have football pads. I had brain surgery when I was a little baby. So sadly, your boy was a tennis boy. I was not allowed to play contact sports. So I've never played football, but maybe we can mix it in. Maybe we can get some fun going. We'll come up with a challenge. Yes. Upside down 9 here at pick 6, but a new age of picks. We're going to go Jonnu Smith here in round 1. And yeah, after that, GG, good luck everyone else, because yeah, we're taking this down, but we have a ton of people out in this draft with us. BSP out here at 1, A-Rod in here at pick 7, JRV in here at pick 9. I think Vinny's maybe a member of the flock with us at 10. Let me know in this live chat if you are in this draft with us. TJ says, go Puka, make the right choice. Yeah. Finally, we don't get pick 9. Let's go pick Puka. Let's go take Puka at pick 6. That's funny. See, Mitchell says, I played football with Kyle Hamilton. I said, I've never played against a professional athlete in a sport. I'm trying to think if there's any. I was not good enough at tennis to ever come close to playing any professionals. I stopped playing baseball when I was so young, and maybe I did. I stopped playing baseball in like 8th grade. So let's move this around. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take a Monroe St. Brown at 6. We're going to keep it stupid simple. Going wide receiver 1 here. I'm sorry, going with the wide receiver in round 1 here gives us a ton of flexibility on what we're able to do later in this draft. So let's take him. Oh yeah, we have Matthew in here at 5 as well. James out here at 12. Happy to see you, my friend. Saram says, Mason, how you doing, mate? Just a couple weeks or so before the race. Yeah. Yeah. So we have our Ironman on the 16th. And we fly out to France on the 9th to prepare for it. We'll get to France on the 10th. I wanted to be in France for a few days so we can hopefully get adjusted to the time zone and go and see the course and stuff, or at least parts of the course. But yeah, I already did the Greyhound. The Greyhound is a single entry. Let's see. Adam says, I played basketball with Darnell Washington. Did you play basketball with or against? Were you on Darnell Washington's team? Because that must be a sight to see. Yeah. I am not joking. If I lined up against Derrick Henry, with the fact that I had brain surgery when I was young, like if I get hit in the head, I only have a couple shots until I'm toast. So if like we were going Oklahoma drills, Mason Dodd versus Derrick Henry, I can probably get 3 hits in, and then I'll be a potato afterwards. Most likely. It would be very entertaining television for the first 3 hits. I'd imagine we could get some pretty good YouTube shorts out of it. Adam had to guard him. Dear God. Dear God. Leonel says, Chris Olave played against my high school. Let's move this over. No Good says, must have just missed this one. Flock's Kryptonite got in pick 9 in this one that started right after. Serves him right. You go out there, you make an underdog count named Flock's Kryptonite. Try to come in here and go against us. Yeah, serves you right to get pick 9. I'm happy it happens to you. Okay, so let's move this. Barkley, Taylor go off 15-16. I would have been excited to get either running back at 19. The issue here, we made an entire video talking about this because I'm tired of just saying it over and over and over again, is once you get to round 2, all these guys are bad, okay? Devontae Adams, massive red flags on why you shouldn't draft them. Deebo Samuel, red flags on why you shouldn't draft them. Nico Collins, red flags on why you shouldn't. You can come up with reasons to not draft any one of these players. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Nico Collins primarily because if you look at the way the ADP is lining up, and honestly in Best Ball Mania, it probably doesn't matter because these drafts are going to change a ton. But anyway, I think all these receivers are kind of in the same tier. And if you were looking at how Stephon Diggs is currently falling in drafts, there's a chance that we get Diggs at 30. So if we can go Nico Collins at 19, get Stephon Diggs at 30, and then set ourselves up to go CJ Stroud, pick 54, I would be very excited about that outcome. So where to go Collins here at 19? Do I have Collins ranked over Devontae Adams? No. Do I? But they're all the same to me. And as we'll talk about that over and over again. Enter your name says, how fast are Ironman athletes running? You have to finish the race in less than 16 hours. The race is 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike, and then a marathon. So the top tier professionals, I mean, these are people that are freaking absolutely nuts. They'll go out there and they'll swim the 2.4 miles, then bike 112, and they'll get off the bike and they'll run a marathon in like 2 hours and 45 minutes. Am I a top tier professional? Far from it, my friend. Far from it. What my goal for the Ironman is, I'm not a good swimmer. I didn't start swimming until I started training for this. So the goal for the swim is don't drown, survive. The goal for the bike, I think I could do the bike in like 5.5 hours if it was flat. The course in Nice has more elevation gain than any Ironman course in the world, though. It's just all mountains. So I have no idea how long the bike's going to take me. It's just very hard for me to come up with an estimate. If I do it in 6 hours, I'd be pretty happy with myself. We're going to take Malik Neighbors. We whiff on Stephon Diggs, which is very frustrating, but it is what it is. But yeah, if we can do the bike in 6 or less hours, I'd be happy. And then the run, I ran the Austin Marathon earlier this year. We ran it in like 3 hours and 10-ish minutes. It was the first marathon I've ever done that was at an actual organized race. We did a half Ironman earlier this year, and we did the half marathon at the end in like an hour 30 something. But if I can do the marathon in Nice in less than 4 hours, I'll be happy with myself. But there are pros that obviously will be. I mean, I'll give you all the info if you want to track the races it's going. I think it'll be televised as well. They're not going to be showing me. They'll be showing the pros. I'll be dying in the back, but yeah, I'll give you all the info and you can see like, oh dear God, this guy just finished in 9.5 hours. It's going to take Mason another 3 hours to get it done. But yeah, another reason we go Nico Collins here is we have him on the thumbnail, right? So we get a little extra bonus in there mid-round too. Blaze coming out telling us that we sniped him with Nico at 19. In reality, I just don't really care about those wide receivers in round 2. I'm just going to try to mix it up and have even exposure to all of them. Tank Dell goes 35. You are continually seeing Tank Dell go earlier and earlier in these drafts. I don't know if there's like a big podcast that's coming out and just pumping the hell out of Tank Dell. But yeah, Tank Dell used to be going late round 4, and pretty consistently now you're seeing him go late round 3 instead. And real quick, I don't know how you wouldn't know this yet, but we're drafting on Underdog Fantasy. This is where we draft every single day. I've drafted here every single day for years and years and years. It's best ball, so there's no time commitment at all during the season. That's how I'm able to draft hundreds of teams every single year. And yeah, if you want to join a draft with us, we're doing it every night. You can find the link in the description, comment section, live chat, code FLOCK. It's going to hook you up with a 50% deposit bonus up to $250 on a new account. Plus, code FLOCK, ladies and gentlemen, will get you set up with our 2024 fantasy football rankings. It'll get you set up with a special pick'em. Depending on the day that you sign up, will depend on the player. An example would be like Luka Doncic, more than less than half a total point And Underdog is available in damn near every state. You can see this map right now, and I'm almost positive it's in your state. But let's smooth this over. Higgins goes 41. Getting Allen at 43 would be an absolute dream. Obviously, it does not happen here. But we go 3 wide receivers out the gate, so we have a lot of flexibility on what we want to do in this draft. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to grab the elite level quarterback. We're going to take Lamar Jackson here at 43. I think Lamar could be QB1. I think it's going to give us a ton of spike weeks. I think this also sets us up with the ability to go Andrews in round 5. And you've seen Lamar and Andrews both falling a little bit further in these drafts as of late. So it looks very possible right now to get the Lamar and Andrews stack. Okay. Yes, W promo as always. To be honest with y'all, I am probably the best at Underdog promos. Probably the best in the world. I think you're looking at a true generational talent in terms of getting through that Underdog promo. I mean, we've done a multiple day of times every single day for years and years and years. So we should be good at it by now. But it looks like Pick 2 is just going out there and trying to snipe us on every guy that we want. Goes Diggs to take that away from our Collins potential. And then goes Andrews to take that away from Lamar. But big thing with Lamar, obviously, you have rushing upside. So not the end of the world, not getting the stack. GoPro Dude says Chase, Barkley, Diggs, Higgins, CJ, Kamara, Ingram, Moss, Samuel Chubb, Schultz, Xavier Kirk, Thielen, Chuba, Pierce, Fields, Jonnu. First best ball draft. How did we do? Rate the team. I love the first 4 rounds. I'm seeing, so we whiffed on Burrow here, right? But we have the Stroud Diggs stack. We got Stroud round 5. We got the double stack with Schultz. I really like the team, my friend. I really like that team. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's swing this over. I've said this a ton. I'll continue to reiterate it. I think that there's an outside chance that Dalton Kincaid outscores the wide receivers in this round if you just look at the available targets that are in Buffalo and how good this offense is. So I'm sure that the Allen team may be a little bit upset with us, but we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Kincaid here at 54. I mean, I hope y'all had a chance to see the video that we had yesterday or the day before. I don't know when it came out now, but about the overall running back strategy, looking at how over the past few years on Underdog, hero RB builds and 0 RB builds have dominated, but specifically when you can get a quarterback and a tight end both before round 7. I like the price on Lamar. I like the price on Kincaid. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take both. And yeah, I feel pretty good about it. Need to get that fan on. We're dying in here. Okay. Let's see. So Hollywood is now, I'm sorry, Marquise is now officially Hollywood on Underdog, I guess, which is news. Did other fantasy sports companies also update his name to Hollywood? Eli says, we need Mason to tattoo the Underdog logo on his forehead and put the Underdog banner in the background. Underdog banner in the backgrounds may be possible. We used to have that in our old setup. But tattoo to the forehead would be very aggressive for our first tattoo. I also have a tattoo question for y'all. Dang Shoot says, 1 quarterback dynasty, 12-team PPR. We have Mahomes, Goff, Gibbs, Hall, Etienne, Brooks, Roach, Sean, Puka, AJ Brown, London. Phenomenal team here. This wide receiver room is absolutely nuts. We have Njoku, Komet. Should we trade for a better tight end? I mean, hell, you could afford it if you really wanted to, my friend. Obviously, you just have a juggernaut type roster. So if you wanted to go out there and send like London away and get Sam Laporta, specifically because your team is that strong, I think you can, especially if it's a league where maybe you only start 3 or 4 wide receivers. Okay. So we have Ridley, Keon, both off the board here. Let's swing this around. Obviously, we can go running back. I mean, we have a lot of optionality of what we can do here in round 6. When we have the elite quarterback, we have the tight end we feel comfortable with, and we have 3 receivers. Flyer says, my high school team played Terrell Pryor in the state title game and got blown out. He jumped over the line to block a field goal and was also the kicker. Oh, that's incredible. I think that it must be the absolute best thing in the world, and you must be living your best life if you are a player that makes it to the NFL. When you were in high school, you must have been just living your best life. Like, can you imagine to have that kind of talent and to just be able to dominate against some 16-year-old kid who just got moved up to varsity? Or you're able to go out there. I mean, if you pull up like Derrick Henry's high school statistics, I can't imagine just going out there, especially a sport like football where it's just so physical. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Jordan Addison here, pick 67. I'm going to reiterate, this is probably not so much an important thing from a construction perspective. From a construction perspective, maybe you go Kamara here, but the guys that I really like in round 6, I really like Kenneth Walker. I really like Jordan Addison. I want to be overexposed to both players. Sometimes you are going to have to go out there. You're going to have to call your shots on these individual guys. So, yeah, we'll take Addison. Okay, so let me ask y'all a tattoo question. I have never gotten a tattoo before. If y'all know anything about, like, Ironman races, it's a big thing once you do an Ironman to get the Ironman logo tattooed on you. I kind of want to do it, but at the same time, I kind of feel like it would be lame to get another company's logo tattooed on my body. If I was going to get the tattoo, I would get it on my thigh. I'd get it on my quad, and it would be pretty small, just the outline of it. So, yes or no, ladies and gentlemen? Let me know what you are thinking. Okay. Let's see what Matthew decides to do. Interesting spot that he finds himself in. Waiting. He goes Aaron Jones. Kind of figured he was going Jones. Obviously, we can get a running back on the way back around. Burrow's not really in play for us here. It's hard to have a really strong argument for any of those receivers over another option. I think we're going to take Ramondre Stevenson as our RB1. I would have preferred getting Aaron Jones. I don't know if we've drafted Aaron Jones yet this year, but now that he's falling to round 7, I'm definitely going to be mixing him in some. And yeah, it'd have been nice to go like Addison Jones there on the turn and go in on Minnesota. Okay. Looks like most people are saying no. James says flock logo is a must for the first tattoo. I've also thought about that. Yeah, if I was getting a tattoo, regardless of what it would be, I'd get a quad tattoo. But I don't know. I've only had one buddy that I know I've actually a person who taught me like what an Ironman was my tennis coach back in high school. He has a really cool looking tattoo, and it says only one. It's the Ironman logo. And 2, the only other like buddy I know my age is getting one. That's done an Ironman, of course. And he told me he was going to wait for me to get it with him. So I don't know, but I've always said I was never going to get a tattoo. So a little nervous. Don't know if I will. Yeah. Honestly, we just need Lance to start already. Whatever Lance's first game starting back, whatever his stat line is, I think that needs to be in permanent ink on my body. Mitchell says, thoughts on my most owned players so far being Keenan and Rome. Depends when you started drafting them. They are going, they are a little bit cheaper now than they were when tournaments first opened. I mean, Rome at this price, I'm completely fine with. If you're taking Rome at the 6-7 turn, I mean, this is an uber talented receiver. Goes top 10 in the NFL draft. Just the issue is, if you go through it, if you look at what we have seen from rookie quarterbacks supporting receivers in fantasy, CJ Stroud is really like the only rookie quarterback we've seen turn receivers in his offense into league-winning options over the past like 10 years as a rookie. You have some other rare instances where like the wide receiver was already a star and then the rookie quarterback gets added on. Like DeAndre Hopkins, for example, back with Deshaun Watson. But I guess you can make the argument Keenan Allen's already a star, but he just gets traded for a 4th round pick. He's going to like year 11 of his NFL career. I don't know. I think if you're looking at going like all in on the Chicago Bears passing offense like that, you need to make sure that you're following it up with a ton of, well, this is interesting. We're going to be mixing in Joe Burrow here, ladies and gentlemen. We get Burrow 15 picks past the ADP. Obviously, we don't have Higgins. We don't have Chase. Now we are going to have to go through. We're going to have to target some of these Cincinnati guys later on. But yeah, if you look at the amount of teams in this tournament that are able to get Burrow at 91, I think it will be very, very few. So we'll take him here and we'll figure it out after. And I completely forgot what we were talking about. I don't know if we were still on tattoos. DJ says, just got my foot tattooed last Friday. Worst pain ever experienced. I saw a really funny Instagram reel of like, whenever I was a freshman in college back in like 2017, everybody was getting their like lip tattooed right here where they can go through. And honestly, it looked pretty cool. Like I should have just done it in 2017 when I was that young, where you could go through and you could pull it down and like on the inside of your lip, it would have like a kind of hidden tattoo and it was only supposed to last like 5-10 years. So if I did it back in like 2017, it'd be gone by now. But anyway, one thing here, we cannot take a quarterback, of course. We have no Bengals potentially. I mean, no Bengals here for us. So we'll go ahead. We'll mix in Mostert. I think it's our first Mostert team. But anyway, I saw a really funny Instagram reel where it was some girl that was supposed to get that lip tattoo, where you obviously can only see it if you pull your lip down. And it just said people would just get it with like dumb stuff. Like I had a bunch of friends since we went to UT got like hook 'em or something right there. Or like the UT logo. I had friends do other stuff too. I can't remember what they were, but she got like meow. And this is some girl, of course, I have no idea who she is. Just popped up on Instagram reels. But instead of like the tattoo artist putting on the inside, she dropped her lip and it was like on the front where you could just see it. Nonstop was really funny. It's really, really funny. DJ says, I might lip tattoo too. It says smile. See, I should have gone with the lip tattoo a while ago. I should have done it. And yeah, obviously we're going to be looking at Jermaine Burton later on. I think we can also be looking at Chase Brown too, depending on the price point. But yeah, we're definitely going to have to look for some Cincinnati guys. We're going to be looking at Gesicki later too. And we'll have to try to mix in some of these. Scott says, my older brother played against Bo Jackson as a sophomore in high school. Still scars proof. That's nuts, my guy. That's nuts. Because the thing is, like, you see high school kids too, and they are tiny. Like, even now, whenever I, like, randomly go by UT's campus and see, like, kids in college, they look like children. And then I went to talk to my tennis coach about the Ironman like a month or two ago, and I just pulled up to like tennis practice, talked to him, and there was like the high school kids playing, and they look like, and obviously I'm not that old, but I was like, oh my gosh, y'all look like children. So like imagine like because if you go to the NFL, you're probably a grown man by the time you're in high school. Just like running over those kids, nuts to think about. Okay, so it looks like we're most likely not going to be seeing a wide receiver on the way back round. Like, I don't really care to take Shakir here at 115 personally. Maybe make the argument since we have Kincaid, we get some correlation. But I do think that we probably need to be taking a running back here if possible. So the issue is It's going to be, dear God. This is tough. What is A-Rod doing? Caleb's falling a considerable amount as well. Caleb's also 15 picks past ADP. Okay. Goes Gus Edwards. Do we reach on Chase Brown? Do we take Shakir? Do we take Chubb or Eckler? I'm not taking Tajay Spears. Spam the chat. Who do you want? We can't go quarterback. It's running back, wide receiver, tight end. Our next pick will be pick 126. Chase Brown has an ADP of 120. The only reason I'd be considering Brown over these other guys is because we have Burrow. Brown, Chase, Brown, Shakir, Gus, Chubb, Shakir, Spears, Eckler. It looks like most people are saying Chase Brown. We'll take Chase Brown. Obviously, Chubb and Eckler have been falling a considerable amount in these drafts. Matthew's going to get Caleb here to pair up with Keenan. Caleb, 16 picks past ADP to get that pairing as well. Really interesting situation that we were just in. I don't know if we made the right decision, but the right decision probably was to just stay disciplined and don't take Burrow. But I see Burrow at 91. It's just very difficult for me not to take him. Like, I know everybody hates the T. Higgins price, and I know Burrow is falling. But, I mean, if you remember, Burrow used to be a quarterback that was going in round 4 last year. And what's different from drafting Joe Burrow in 2023 versus drafting Joe Burrow in 2024? He was injured last season. Like, he's the same guy. He has the same receivers, if not a better wide receiver core. And if not, maybe a little bit of a softer defense where they should be in higher scoring games. So, I mean, I don't know. I think you're just kind of getting an unreasonable discount on him, to be honest. Okay. Piano says everyone's saying he's injury prone, like people can predict injuries. Yeah, I mean, you go from like a torn ACL early on in his NFL career to a wrist injury. I'm not necessarily thinking that those are super correlated. I'm not going to take Shakir very often at his ADP on any team that I don't have Josh Allen. But here he falls 15 picks past ADP. We have already kind of made a bet on this Buffalo offense and taking Dalton Kincaid where we did. So we'll go ahead. We will pull the trigger on Shakir here, 126. I mean, we were talking about the possibility of getting him there at 115, right? So if that was in the back of our minds, so I might as well take him now. Stokesy says, can you make the executive decision to get Underdog in Iowa? I feel like Squidward watching SpongeBob and Patrick play outside. If Underdog could be in, okay, a couple different things. One, if Underdog could be in Iowa, I'm sure they would love to be. Two, my friend, oh, I wish I had that kind of power. Can you imagine? Can you imagine me having the power to dictate where companies can operate and where they can't? Ooh. I don't know what I would do with it. I probably wouldn't do anything with it. To be honest, the tiny bit of power that I have for flockfantasy.com, I don't even like. I love the site. I just don't really like. I don't know. I feel like I don't even know what I'm saying, to be honest. This is a Best Ball Mania draft. Enemy of Cruelty says Shakir's been gaining standing lately and did well when the new offensive coordinator took over. He may do better than we think. I mean, obviously, this is a good situation in terms of the quarterback play, in terms of Diggs and Gabe Davis being gone. But and this is a serious question, I don't know if the average fantasy football drafter would know who Shakir was if it wasn't for the fact that he played for the Buffalo Bills. Say if Shakir was drafted exactly in the same round that he was the same year, but he was drafted to the Seattle Seahawks, I don't think anybody would know his name. But he's been in the mix, and everybody's been drafting him in best ball over the past few years solely based off the reason that he's attached to Josh Allen. Y'all know I love me some Zach Charbonnet. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take him. I'm fine with the Charbonnet price. I'm fine with the Kenneth Walker price. Charbonnet receiving down role. Plus, I think he's a league winner if Kenneth Walker were to go down. I mean, if Zach Charbonnet was in this year's draft class, he would have been the running back one in this year's class. With Jonathan Brooks having the torn ACL, of course. Okay, so let's move this over. Sticky Ricky off the board here, 140. I'm sure Matthew was sweating out to see if he was going to get Dontavian Wicks. And Justin Herbert makes it all the way down to 141. So it's so funny. I feel like whenever we take the elite level quarterback, such as like Lamar Jackson in round 4, it typically is a draft that quarterbacks fall. And I'm sitting here going, oh my gosh, I'd love to take Caleb Williams pick 115, but I can't. I would love to take Burrow pick 91, but I probably shouldn't. I would love to take Justin Herbert pick 139, but I can't. Versus whenever we don't take the elite level quarterback in round 4, they all go early, and your boy's stuck with Bryce Young at the end of the draft. So, I don't know. I do not know what's happening here. All right. Swing this around. I'd imagine that Johnston goes to the Herbert team. I think that's Benny Good. Obviously, we can't go Stafford. Marshawn Lloyd and Kydra Miller are both running backs that have gained a lot of steam in these drafts over the past month. Who am I kidding? We're going Jermaine Berton here. I mean, we just have to get some sense of correlation. Like, I'm fine having Lamar unstacked given the fact that you have rushing upside, but we can't really make that same argument for Burrow. Okay. Matthew. Oh my gosh. My guy. Don't kill me. Don't do it. Raphael says Bryce Young is a league winner. Oh, if he is a league winner. Thank you. Thank you. Fine, sir. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Jermaine here. Pick 150. Much love. And we'll get the Burrow, Brown, Jermaine double stack. Is that what the usual Burrow stack's going to look like? No, of course. The usual Burrow stack's probably going to be a Jamar Chase T. Higgins double stack or just a single stack of Chase or Higgins. But maybe we can get some leverage over the rest of the field with this pairing. Obviously, we get Burrow at a very nice price point at pick 91. So, yeah, it's an interesting team. We're going to have to draft 2 more running backs. And since we've waited this long at tight end, we may end up pulling the trigger on 2 tight ends. We may end up going like Isaiah Likely and Mike Gesicki at the very end of this draft. Naeem says, late, but how did you get pick 6? My friend, I have my ways. I have my ways. My ways where I started this live stream and I said, if I get picked 9, I'm logging off. Okay. Gibson goes 159. Stafford falling. Looks like Stafford makes it past the Cup and Puka teams. Let's see. Who had Cup, Puka? Who took Puka? Am I blind here? Team at 9 is Puka. What did they do? They went Puka. They went Ray Davis in the last round. They only had they had Allen and Brock Purdy. Makes sense. They got Josh Allen pick forward. You can't blame him for that at all. Who took Kupp and passed on Stafford? Okay, we will go back to that. We need to make sure we're not auto drafting Stafford. What's the news on Jaleel? Turns healthy for OTAs. Probably going to be the guy we go with. Any reason to do anything else? Maybe have a Denver bring back. We'll go ahead. We'll get him in here at 163. Also, someone that's been moving up drafts a bit. It kind of makes sense if you look at how thin this depth chart is in Denver. And it's not like Javonte Williams is Saquon Barkley and just has a massive stranglehold on this starting job. I've taken too much Adam Thielen where it's honestly embarrassing. So we're going to go Jaleel 163. Ross says, how many more likes till 300? It won't show me. I do not know if I have my phone here, my friend, so I'm probably not going to be able to pull that up. I'm sure somebody in the live chat can let you know. But yes, if you have not done so already, hit the like in the live stream, ladies and gentlemen, if you want another draft. If you don't want another draft, you don't need to do anything. You can log off. And also the poll that we have in the live chat, the yup, and then in parentheses Storage Wars, just to make sure y'all know what the reference is. That's the Dave guy that goes, yup. I had completely forgot about Storage Wars. And whenever I was in Florida for my brother's graduation, we started making Storage Wars references. Okay. Let me know if you watched Storage Wars growing up. There were some, honestly, looking back, the shows that hold up the best in my mind are like the reality TV shows. Like from that time period. Man versus Food, top tier. Storage Wars, pretty damn good. Yeah, my girlfriend and I watched on the Southwest flight back from Florida to Austin. I know they all are going to laugh at this, but I'm not going to lie. It was very good. It was like just super entertaining. Guy Fieri's Diners, Dives, and Drives. Oh my gosh. That show was phenomenal. Okay. What are we doing here? Dobbins, Chuba, both been falling like rocks lately. We're going to go ahead. Bateman's been rising with the contract extension. We have Lamar. Might as well go ahead, grab Bateman here. 174. And get some correlation in here. I mean, outside of Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews, you really don't have anybody else in Baltimore. American Picker's pretty good as well. I'm not going to lie, y'all. If I'm like 6-7 hours into a live stream during the season, not during these drafts live streams, during these draft live streams, they're too short for me to like have my brain completely zapped. And also I just genuinely love doing these underdog drafts. So it's like entertaining enough in its own. But if I'm like 6 hours into a live stream during the season, that's it's just me answering questions going like, do I start Mike Evans or Chris Godwin? I'll throw on like on my other monitor a TV show and just have it on mute. And sometimes I'll do American Pickers just so I can like look at something. Oh, Pawn Stars. I actually met back when I was like 12. My aunt took me to Vegas, took my brothers and I to Vegas. I was like 12. We went to the Pawn Stars shop. And just in case you've never been, to let you know, it's pretty much just a souvenir shop. They have like a little pawn store in the back. And they have just like regular employees working it. Obviously, the guys who like own the shop and are on the show aren't really working. But like the younger son, like with blonde hair, came into the store to like pick up a check. And he like called us over and like talked to us and gave us autographs. It was so cool. Noah says Duck Dynasty. Duck Dynasty was great until it became too fake. Like there was a point that in 8th grade, I was in 8th grade, I think 2013 or 2014. Duck Dynasty had a grip on America. I mean, it was a well-deserved grip. But then by the time I got to like 9th or 10th grade, I think the show got too big and they like tried too hard to become characters of themselves, if that made sense. And then it's just like, okay, this isn't watchable. But at its peak, Duck Dynasty was pretty damn good. I don't know what Counting Cars is. American Pickers was great. Let's see. Do we have any other shows in here? I've seen the first few episodes, first few seasons of Hell's Kitchen. Okay. But outside of that, like, Gordon Ramsay's like too big. When people get like that big, it's like, I don't know if I can keep watching you and keep rooting for you, which is a weird thing to say. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Isaiah Likely. Just get the Lamar double stack. It's boring, right? It's not ideal. A lot of teams are going to do it. I don't love Likely in a vacuum, but while it's boring, a lot of other teams are doing it. It's probably the correct thing to do. So now we'll have at wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, Nico Collins, Malik Neighbors, Jordan Addison, Khalil Shakir, Jermaine Berton, Rashad Bateman. Quarterback, we have Lamar double stacked with Likely and Bateman. We have Burrow double stacked with Chase Brown and Jermaine. Running back, we have Ramondre, Raheem Mostert, Chase Brown, Zach Charbonnet, Jaleel. And then at tight end, we have Kincaid as well as Isaiah Likely. And the other correlation that we have on this team, besides the quarterback double stacks, is we have Kincaid, Shakir paired up. And that may be it in terms of teammates. Okay. Well, let's swing this back around. I'm probably done at 7 receivers here. If we were to mix in Mike Gesicki and go full-blown Cincinnati Bengals onslaught. And we for sure want to take another running back, right? I mean, that's easy. And we for sure don't want to take another QB. Chig goes here, 196. Let's think. What do we want to do? Let's just take Bigsby, mix him in. He's not going to get drafted in every single one of these underdog drafts. We've taken him in round 18, some in earlier tournaments on underdog. Last year, severely overrated. He allowed us to get a phenomenal value on Travis Etienne last year. But Jacksonville doesn't really do anything to bring in depth at the running back position. So right now, if you look at the depth chart, Bigsby's probably the number 2 guy. Okay, looks like 30 more likes and we'll fire up that next draft, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to see another draft, make sure you hit that like button. Tommy Coates says, with last round running backs always lean towards Justice Hill or Rasheen Ali? I have not taken either, my friend. M7 says, this is a Jags fan. I don't know about that. I don't know. If I just look at the other guys, like the thing is with Deonta Foreman, the issue I see is even if Chubb, like say the knee injury is so devastating, Chubb doesn't come back. Foreman's still in a split backfield with Jerome Ford. Like even if Chubb's the starter's down and out, he's in a committee. Whereas Bigsby, if Etienne goes down, there is a world where he's the guy. Okay. Quarterbacks going here at the 17-18 turn. Oh, y'all are going to disrespect my guy like a Bryce Young like this. Are you kidding me? You're going to tell me if I do not draft Bryce Young, then nobody's going to? That is disrespectful to my guy. I think you could make an argument for only a 2 tight end build here where we took Kincaid. I think you could go wide receiver or tight ends. Thing is, I think Gesicki is an easy pick and like an easy argument to make for the Burrow builds. And if we're looking at any of the wide receivers, I mean, maybe we could try to pick the right guy. But I just have no idea. And looks like, I don't know if we are hitting the 300 likes or not. We have a couple more picks to go. But, I mean, obviously, burden skyrockets if Higgins is dealt. Higgins is dealt. He goes ahead of Leggett, Ricky, Dontavian, Gabe, Downs, Cooks. He's probably in like the Dotson, Judy range. So he probably just jumps another 2-3 rounds. Like 3 rounds at the very most. All right, so people in the chat saying we hit 300. If y'all are lying to me, y'all are lying to me, but I'm not going to have a way to know. So we are just going to fire up another draft here, ladies and gentlemen. This will be a Best Ball Mania. Sure, you already know, $25 buy-in, $1.5 million for first. Top 20 places get 6 figures. So a much flatter payout structure than the past, and I really like this one. Okay, let's get in here and see what pick we are at. Why? I'm going to cry. Okay. I literally may cry. Why do I have to deal with this? It's obnoxious. What's the worst? I don't even say it's the worst thing, but one, pick 9 guarantees us a pretty bad team. I don't want to say guarantees us, but puts us in a difficult spot, which will just then prove that I am a complete fool in this live stream as I draft a bad team here. But it is what it is. We got a couple familiar names in this live stream as well, or in this draft. I'm gonna try to mentally pull together. I need to get rid of this pissy attitude. I will say I was reading the comment section earlier today. I don't know if it was on our most recent video or most recent live stream, but someone else said that they'd been getting pick 9 a lot lately, and they were going AJ Brown over Puka, because they were looking at the player prop offerings from a bunch of different sports books. And they said across almost all sports books, A.J. Brown had a yardage total that was about 200 total yards ahead of Puka. And his touchdown prop was higher across the board as well. So to be completely honest with y'all, I mean, y'all know I say all the time, sports books know more than you do. They know more than I do. They know more than anybody on YouTube. Someone's trying to come out here and sell you. I have a secret formula that beats all the sports books, and you're going to win tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars betting on the Cowboys -5. They're lying to you, or they're dumb enough to believe it themselves. It's not true. But with all that being said, yeah, we kind of can use that data, make better and more well-informed decisions with it. So honestly, that's enough for me to maybe not like move A.J. Brown ahead of Puka in our rankings, but definitely be mixing in more A.J. Brown here at pick 9 than we were previously. Or previously we were just taking Puka and moving on with it. So we're going to go ahead. We will take A.J. Brown. We'll go Brown. And I want to reiterate what we said yesterday. I think the reason Underdog's punishing us and giving us pick 9 is not enough of y'all are using code FLOCK on Underdog. If you've been watching this channel long enough, if you're hanging out with us every single night in this live stream, and you are in one of the states that has Underdog, I will show the map again, and you have not used code FLOCK on Underdog, what are you doing? Support the channel. Make sure I can keep doing this every day, and maybe if you use code FLOCK, I won't get stuck here with pick 9 over and over again. There'll be a lot of A.J. Brown, London teams. We're going to mix it up. We're going to go JT. Typically, you want to be going with the Hero RB build with the running back that goes in round 1. Hero RB builds with running backs in round 2 over the past few years on Underdog. Haven't really worked out, but hell, maybe there's a first. There's a first for anything. Maybe it works out with JT. Okay, Waddle goes 19. Is Waddle moving up? Ooh. Giving my guy some respect here. We used to be able to get Waddle mid-round 3. Isaac says, hopefully you can go Smith in round 3, then Hurts in round 4. I mean, if y'all remember, we were going Smith late round 3 in almost every single one of these drafts like 2-3 weeks ago. Now Devonta Smith is more of an early third to a mid-third rounder. So, like, I haven't been able to get Smith late round 3 in forever. But we took so much of him late round 3 when these tournaments just dropped that I think he's still my most drafted receiver. I can go ahead and pull this up. But, yeah, let me grab this. Yeah, Devonta Smith, I have him in 29% of my drafts. $147 of entry fees for Smith. And he is my most drafted receiver and most drafted player overall. Okay, so you have a massive run on these round 2 receivers. Someone that I will probably not take at all that could easily crush us this year. I am probably not going to be taking any Mike Evans. Obviously, super consistent year in and year out. Going into year 10, this is someone that's played 154 games. He doesn't miss time. 1,200 receiving yards last year, 1,100 the year before, 1,000, 1,100. Pretty much penciled in to have 1,100 receiving yards. Last year, he had the 13 touchdowns, which is obviously why he's getting the bump. I don't know. This is why I have to live stream, so I can say stupid things out loud like I'm not drafting Mike Evans, because as we go through and look at this, why the hell would I not be? Like, I definitely prefer the Chris Godwin price tag. Evans will be 31 this next year. But he's younger than Devontae Adams. I've taken some Devontae Adams round 2. And when I say younger, they're about the same age. They're both drafted in 2014. And if we're looking at Adams, this is a wide receiver that last year, I guess had about the same. Actually, it makes sense to go Adams over him. You go back 2 years ago, Adams put up a better season than what we've ever seen from pretty much Evans. I think Evans can be like a very consistent player in returning value here in round 2. I just don't know if he's winning your league. Bear says, wasn't Underdog banned in Florida March 1st? I'm here in Florida. My friend, my family's from Florida. Been in Florida for quite some time. No, Underdog is in Florida. See the map here, my friend. This is an updated map everywhere Underdog is. We're going to go ahead. We're going to reach on Zay Flowers here at 33. I mean, I would obviously rather have Devonta Smith. Taking Zay Flowers at 33 does give us the option to go with 3 different elite quarterbacks. We could go Lamar at 40. We could go Jalen Hurts at 40. we could go Josh Allen at 40. I'm not a big Metcalf guy. I'd rather have Zay Flowers over Metcalf. I mean, Zay Flowers, good wide receiver prospect, went round 1 of the draft, good rookie season. We know typically you're going to be betting on wide receivers going into year 2, coming off strong rookie campaigns, especially if they were strong prospects. Flock's Kryptonite decides to go with the Kelsey Mahomes stack. They're picked 36, 37. So they're definitely going for a unique team. The amount of Harrison Olave, Kelsey Mahomes combos will be extremely low in the tournament. Let's move this over. I'd say Jalen Hurts plan A, DK Metcalf plan B. And then it looks like we don't need a plan C. So we're going to go ahead. We will take Jalen Hurts for our elite level quarterback and pair him up with A.J. Brown. Yeah, definitely a little bit of a reach on Zay Flowers. And y'all know I typically don't love reaching on ADP, but it is what it is. Very similar like the round 2 receivers with Chris Olave, Drake London, Brandon Ayuk, Devontae Adams, Deebo Samuel, Nico Collins, where I think they're all about the same. Zay Flowers, Michael Pittman, DK Metcalf, Cooper Kupp. I probably, honestly, if I'm just completely ignoring ADP, I think there's a shot that I'd rather have Zay Flowers. Similar to Jordan Addison, where we just want to be betting on talented receivers going into year 2 that were strong prospects. I would rather have Zay Flowers over Tank Dell, but I do think Dell's going to be going ahead of him. My thing with Dell versus Flowers is a much better prospect. Dell had a good rookie year, but he's like 24 years old during his rookie season. So it's like very hard to come out here and say, oh yeah, Tank Dell's a year older than Kyle Pitts. Like super rare for what he did as a rookie. No, not really. Ball King says DK over Flowers. Let me go ahead and let me pull up. Let's pull up the range of outcomes that we have for these guys. So one of my favorite tools fantasy football tools in general is the RotoViz screener. I'm sure y'all have seen me use it a ton, where we can just essentially look at all finishes from a fantasy football perspective with pretty much any statistic and we can combine statistics together, blah, 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 and look at all the data from the year 2000. And how I really like using it, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody else using it this way, is essentially like looking at Zay Flowers, who was a 23-year-old wide receiver last year, putting in his season at 23 years old and comparing him to all 23-year-old wide receivers in the past since the year 2000, and moving the parameters to where we are looking at the top 10 most comparable options. If we look at that for DK Metcalf as a 26-year-old wide receiver, the median projection is about 14 points per game the following year from a full PPR perspective. And it's hard to imagine him hitting the higher end on the range of outcomes there, given the fact that with Metcalf, he has plateaued and been the exact same for 3 straight seasons. And no, that app's not free. It's like $200 or something like that. Because I think whatever plan I got was 200. But smooth this around. We probably need to be aiming for five receivers through the first 8 rounds. Hollywood goes, I know there will be a running back that we like on the way back around. So we're going to take Jaden Reed here at 57, even if I think in a vacuum I'd prefer James Cook. Just looking at how the draft board's set up, I'm confident if we want to go with the running back, we'll get one at pick 64. And I don't know if we'll have a wide receiver that we like at 64. I mean, obviously, we could always go out there and we could always reach on Addison if we really wanted to. The Allen team goes Keon Coleman here, 59. Antler Eyes, happy birthday, my guy. Happy to see you. Hope you're doing well. Okay. Aiden says, is it really worth it to take an elite quarterback? I'm hearing a lot of people say to look for value later. If you look at the historical data, it pays to take an elite QB. It pays to take a quarterback before round 7. It's so fun. It is so funny. And this is something that I really hate. Y'all know I love diving into data. I love looking at the historical data, trying to come away with conclusions, blah, 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 blah. But it is so funny to see people just chase exactly what worked the season before. Where 2 years ago, elite level quarterback crushed in fantasy. My most drafted guy, Patrick Mahomes, round 5. It's the easiest pick ever. You just auto draft him. And if y'all remember what happened when elite level quarterback with the elite QBs that were being drafted in rounds 4, 5, 6, 2 years ago, they crushed. And then the next year, people were going elite quarterback at the 1-2 turn when the tournament opened. They looked at the data from the year prior and they went, yep, we want an elite quarterback. Take him in round 1. Of course you don't do that. Of course, instead of going QB elite quarterback round 1, you wait until Jalen Hurts goes in round 4. And what happens last year? Last year, who wins an incredible amount of money? CJ Stroud going very late. So all of a sudden it's like, oh no, now I guess you don't want the elite level quarterback. People lost money drafting them around 1 and 2 last year, but people made money drafting CJ Stroud in round 17 and round 18. Now, if you think that you can find the next CJ Stroud in round 18, go for it. But it's probably not happening. And now I'll continue to be happy to take Jalen Hurts, to take Josh Allen, to take Lamar Jackson in round 4. I'll be happy to take Mahomes in round 5 if you give them to us. But yeah, don't just blindly chase whatever happened last year because if you go back to year 2 on Underdog, everybody and their mom was just screaming hyper fragile. Only draft 4 running backs. Take 4 running backs with your first 4 picks and don't take another guy because that's what worked the year prior. You want to look at the overall data and definitely use it to guide your decisions, but don't just follow it blindly from whatever worked the season before. Ty says, why Cook over White? Much better offense, more touchdown upside. And also, if you look at where they are going in drafts currently, it's going to be more rare to get Cook at 64 than it would be Rachaad White. And yeah, I think James Cook at 64 is probably a player that we just simply have to take. Like it's either like James Cook or Chris Godwin. I'm going to go with the starting running back for Buffalo. Swinging this back around. Another draft, Aaron Jones makes it down to round 7. So it does look like Aaron Jones is continuing to fall here. If we hit 600 likes, we will fire up a third draft, ladies and gentlemen. 600 likes, we'll get a third one going, which I'm expecting does not happen. But at the same time, the girlfriend flies back in tonight. I think she's on her way from the airport now, so probably don't want to get in a third draft, which is why we're saying 600. Okay, so Hopkins goes, JSN goes. More likely than not, we are wanting to go wide receiver here. We are sitting with A.J. Brown, Zay Flowers, Jaden Reed. We have some flexibility because we decided to go Jaden Reed in round 5. I'm definitely feeling good about that decision because if we didn't make it, then we'd be absolutely screwed here. But Evan Ingram, 79. I would have been excited to get Ingram. All right. We know that there will be a running back on the way back around, right? Very similar to what we said back in round 5. We know there will be a running back, but Rashee Rice is going to go to Flock's Kryptonite here, who has Patrick Mahomes. Unless one of the teams for him take it. You look at Ramadre versus Zamir, Swift, Najee, Brooks. They're all kind of about the same. And I guess we are a Carolina Panthers fan. So we are going to get suckered into going with Deontay Johnson here at 81. And yeah, fire him up. Fire him up. Aiden says, I've seen a lot of props having Hopkins receiving numbers better than Ridley and Addison. Why does the market have these guys over Hopkins? That is interesting, my friend. What's the gap between them? And yes, the thing about Carolina is, I mean, there's just going to be so many touchdowns scored here for Deontay Johnson, right? So many touchdowns available. Braden, we'll go ahead and we'll check out your team at pick 1. I do agree. I think it's bad now that I look at it. But I'll talk about why. I think you just made one big mistake. We'll talk about it. So in this background, Jamison Williams has been moving up these draft boards, which is interesting. Okay, DeAndre Swift off 86. Fire him up. What's the Panthers saying? Like what's the Panthers motto? Do they have something? I clearly need to learn it. But yeah, going over to 1, my friend. CMC pick 1. You do you. I personally go Lamb just because I think it's easier to build around a round 1 wide receiver, but that's just me. Obviously, people way smarter than me are going to go CMC. Kyron Williams with the 2-3 turn. Do you want to chase the ceiling? Go right ahead. DJ Moore 25. If that's your guy, go right ahead. I would go Diggs, but it's just me. Personal preference doesn't really matter, but I agree. Once you go RB, you have to go receiver round 3. Kind of put in a box where you have to go wide receiver at the 4-5 turn. And then if you want to go Kamara at 72, completely fine with that as well. The only issue that I have with your team is to go Burrow at 73 doesn't really make any sense for me when you don't have Chase, you don't have Higgins. Well, yeah, in the last draft, I took Burrow without Chase or Higgins. I also got Joe Burrow at pick 91, right? So there's a big difference between me taking Burrow instead of Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert goes 91 in this draft, where you took Burrow over Aaron Jones, you know? So, yeah, I don't like your team at 1 primarily because the Joe Burrow selection. And if I'm going to go with like an unstacked QB there, I'd probably go Kyler just because you have a little more rushing upside or a lot more rushing upside. Keep pounding. Okay, that's what it is. Keep pounding, Pound Town. Wes says, footballers talked about Jameson. Are footballers talking best ball? Observations Elias says, people who take unstacked pocket quarterbacks at ADP. Yeah, very rarely are you going to see it. At least this time of year. Once you get closer to the season, you'll see it more often. But, which is why typically if I have like Tyreek Waddle or if I have Chase Higgins, I'll push it expecting to get Tua or Burrow a little bit later. Okay, let's move this over. Aiden says, which rookie running backs do you think have the best chance to break in your top 32? I don't know if we can just say Jonathan Brooks, but Jonathan Brooks has the size to be a 3-down player. Great receiving back before he got injured at Texas. If he would have tested, if he didn't have the torn ACL, I think he would have had the athletic profile to get it done at the NFL level. Ty Baskin says, Panthers at least the top 30 stack. I wouldn't go that far. I'd say they're at least the top 32 stack. Okay, Pollard off the board at 102. Pollard falls a considerable amount. I mean, Pollard and Spears are going to be going really close soon. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Tyler Lockett. Don't ask me why. What you're going to see very often here is you are going to see the team that took Jaden Reed go Romeo Dobbs. But we did not get Jordan Love. The team at 89 decided to go Jordan Love, so I think they are more likely than not going to be going Romeo Dobbs on the way back around 113 to get the Watson-Dobbs double stack. Trey Lance says, Bryce Young can join me in the UFL next year. That'd be one hell of a QB competition, my friend. Here's what's going to happen for all these teams where we're taking Deontay Johnson, Jonathan Brooks. Panthers are going to go, for the love of God, we're not getting the job done with Bryce Young. Let's call Dallas. Let's send him a second rounder. Let's bring in Lance. And then all of a sudden, Deontay Johnson prints money. Obviously joking, for the love of God. Don't think I'm being serious there. Dallas Goedert for sure in play for us. We have Jalen Hurts. We can get the A.J. Brown, Goddard, Hurts double stack. Now, the Hurts Goddard stack really hurt me last year. I'll tell you that much. But better price point this year. You don't have to take Jalen Hurts at the 2-3 turn. Nobody ever had to take Dallas Goedert at the 6-7 turn, but don't tell me that because freaking Mason in 2023 was doing it. So we'll go ahead. We'll take Dallas Goedert here, 112, and we'll send up a prayer that a tight end who has never scored touchdowns in his entire life manages to start finding the end zone. This guy says, Brock Purdy, snipe. My team is now dead. Where did Purdy go? Purdy goes 111. Yeah, to a team with no Niners. Purdy's another one of these pocket passing options where I typically wouldn't expect him to go to an unstacked team. Where did you had I'm assuming, yeah, you had Ayuk there, 18. I mean, no harm, no foul. Going Lawrence for the Ingram pairing is just fine. I definitely want to say your team's dead. White 66 is going to be a little bit of a unique combo. Getting tanked out at 42 is probably not going to last that long with where he's been trending in these drafts. I like your team, my friend. I did not even notice this. This is the correlation that we're building in. People are focused in on week 16, week 17 bringbacks, trying to stack up game environments, yada, yada, yada. Sean says, why does Mason's team have a lot of players starting with the letter J? We're building a J team. Let's run through this. Jonathan Brooks, Deontay Johnson, James Cook, Jaden Reed, Jalen Hurts, Jonathan Taylor. We're all in on the J's, ladies and gentlemen. From here on out, that's what we're looking for. If either your first or last name does not start with J, I don't want you. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's move this around. Jerry Jeudy, come on down. Let's get him in here, ladies and gentlemen. Not only do we get one J, we're getting two J's with this pick. How many J's do we got total here? Our entire quarterback room, J's. Entire running back room, J's. Receivers, we have Johnson, Jerry Jeudy, Jaden Reed, A.J. Brown. So, I think he says, does Nico's contract affect Tank Dell's dynasty value? I mean, it was kind of already priced in that Nico was going to be there in the long term, right? So, no, I'd say no. Aiden says, Dryce Chung, yeah. Time to get, that's really funny, my friend. I like that. Okay. Is this a Josh Downs pick? Or maybe we can make an argument for T.J. Hawkinson? We get the J sound in there. If we pair him up with Goddard, we can pretend because we drafted two tight ends early, even if one's not going to play, that we only have to take two of these guys. Gabe Davis, 134. Underdog says he'd allow it. All right. Brandon says, no, I get Jake Gesicki and call it a day. No, I think we're going to go T.J. Hawkinson. Let's get another J coming in here. A.J. Brown, T.J. Hawkinson. Welcome to the club. We're going to be honest, hopefully A.J. Brown and T.J. Hawkinson have the same agent. It would be an easier call. It'd be an easier discussion to have. But we're going to have to get them to drop the A and drop the T. Just going to have to go to J. Brown, J. Hawkinson. Keep it simple. Okay. Honestly, I would have gone Hawkinson regardless of the J situation. Jerry Jeudy, maybe I would have thought about someone else, but Jerry Jeudy getting 2 J's in there, that was a little bit too good to pass up on. Okay. So if we go Hawkinson, we're done at tight end with Goddard and Hawk. We can possibly go 3 quarterbacks. Definitely not the plan, but if we wanted to, we could go like QB round 17 and round 18. Real Sports Takes is 107 more likes ago. There's no way in hell we're getting to 600 likes, is there? Oh, dear God. The girlfriend will not be happy. Okay. Rico Dowdle off the board, 143. What running backs do we have? We have Jonathan Taylor, James Cook, Jonathan Brooks. So we're only going to go with 5 running backs with this team. All right. Let's move this over. Hopefully Komet's off the board soon. Underdog says Jerry Jeudy the Jag. Ooh. We can go the entire team of Jags, to be honest. Okay, so hopefully Komet, Musgrave are gone by the time we're up. All right, do we have any J's in the building? We got Jalen Polk as an option on the way back around, ladies and gentlemen. Jalen Polk's really our only guy we can be looking at. Sticky Ricky goes. Rodgers off the board. Rodgers wouldn't have been in play for us. Stafford's not in play. We could go Ty Chandler. I don't really care about Roman Wilson. So honestly, in a vacuum, Jalen Polk's probably my guy here. And considering we're stacking up J's, come on down, Jalen Polk. Okay. And I think we're only going to be drafting 1 more receiver, so we probably should be a little more selective of who our next receiver is. And if we are looking to take, say, 2 more quarterbacks, say we wanted to go QB round 17, QB round 18, we could go Bryce Young, get the double stack with Deontay and Jonathan Brooks, and we could go Drake May and go with Jalen Polk. Actually, Isaac says we can go J.J. McCarthy. You're right. We have Hawkinson. We can go J.J. McCarthy here. Which, yeah, we probably need to go J.J. McCarthy now we think about it. All right. Are there any J's in play at this point? Probably not, right? Yeah. Our next option would be Jaleel down here, ADP 167. Which I don't know if we can make an argument. Oh, and he even goes 158, so we don't even get that option. So now our next option would be Jawan Johnson. But we can't take a tight end. We're only QB, running back, wide receiver. Yeah. Javon Baker. Hunter Henry goes. I think we take... We're going to take Tyler Algier. I mean, I think he should have a role from week to week perspective. Probably not a large one. Obviously, we're assuming that Bijan goes out there and Bijan dominates, but he should touch the ball some. And if Bijan were to go down, we've seen Algier potentially handle a 3-down workload, potentially be a league winner before. So, yeah, we'll go ahead. We'll take Algier. Think we need a running back. Been a profitable pick for the past 2 seasons. And I want to say he's cheaper than he was last year, too. And what should be a better offense. Dylan says, when are you going to do 2-hour streams again, Mason? Here's the plan. The plan is, this is why I kind of like the like system. Because to be honest with you, likes I don't think really help in the YouTube algorithm. So I don't think it really matters. That's why I never even say like to hit a like button on a video or anything. The hit a like in the live stream if you want another draft is literally just saying like how many people want another draft, how many people are here. So it should scale like as we get closer to the season. The more people that come, the longer we stream. So the main thing is I'm trying to pace myself. Last year we streamed for like 250 days in a row. I started going bald because of it. I'm blaming that, by the way. That's why I started going bald. And we're going to try to pace ourselves here. So my expectation is when we get back from France in late June, I don't know, maybe more people are here. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. Stocksy says, Tyler Algier went to Henry J. Kaiser High School. Ooh. Interesting. Eric says, yeah, that was an insane stretch you had last year. To be honest with y'all, ladies and gentlemen, things I will probably never do again. I don't want to say never. If something happens that's absolutely crazy, like we had 1 million subscribers or something, then obviously everything's out the window. But I will probably never do a 24-hour live stream again. If y'all remember, I lost my voice during the season because we did that. And I had so many people message me saying like, hey, I'm an opera singer, or hey, I'm a voice coach. You're going to permanently damage your voice for the rest of your life if you keep on streaming every day. And it all started with the 24-hour stream 2 years ago. So we'll probably never do the 24-hour stream again. And I don't know if we'll ever be able to break our record of like 250 days in a row streaming. I think that will be the best. I don't want to say the best it is, but the longest we ever go. Okay. More likely than not, we're taking Deshaun Watson. We took Jerry Jeudy. Deshaun Watson sadly does not have any J's in his name, but nobody else in this range does, unless we wanted to reach on Javon Baker, but I just way rather have Deshaun. Team in front of us, I guess they actually could have gone quarterback. They had Love and Cousins if they really wanted to go with the third. They didn't have any Cleveland guys, though, but let's go ahead. Let's take Deshaun Watson as our QB2. And with Jalen Hurts and Deshaun Watson, I honestly don't think we need to go with the third quarterback. I think we'd be fine taking 2 here. I don't know what the right answer is. Maybe we should take a third. Maybe we should only take 2. I think it's probably, we know we need another running back. We know we need another receiver. And then for that last slot, I think we have the flexibility where if we love a quarterback or if we love a running back or if we love a receiver, we can, or honestly, maybe even if we love a tight ends, we could go tight ends. Yeah, I think this is, for a team at pick 9, I'm giving myself props. Good team. We have a Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert double stack. We have an okay wide receiver room with A.J. Brown, Zay Flowers, Jaden Reed, Deontay Johnson, Tyler Lockett, Jerry Jeudy, Jalen Polk. Our running back room's not too bad. We have Jonathan Taylor, James Cook, Jonathan Brooks, Tyler Algier. We have Goddard Hawkinson. We have the elite QB. So we have an elite QB, respectable tight ends, correlation throughout the team. While not being too weak at either running back or receiver. Not too bad if you ask me. I think we go Roshan. Yeah, we're going to go ahead. If we really wanted another QB, we could go Geno. I just don't know if we want another quarterback like we mentioned previously. But what I do know is we want another running back. So let's go Roschon Johnson. I believe that he's the running back 2 there in Chicago behind DeAndre Swift. We've talked about this a lot, but if you look at what this team's done over the past 2 years, even with having Khalil Herbert, they go out there, they draft Roschon, they sign Deonta Foreman, and then they sign DeAndre Swift with having Khalil Herbert on this team. So I have no hope that this team likes Khalil by any means. Let's go ahead. Let's move this over. M7 says, how you liking the team? I'd feel way better if we got Stafford. Where are you at, my friend? What pick are you at? Isaac says, did you see that Angel Hernandez retired? I did see that, my friend. Yeah, I don't want to act like it's a great team, but for pick 9, I'm giving myself props. Okay, M7's at pick 11. Puka, very rare pick at 11. Yeah, Puka Gibbs, I like the start. Allen Kincaid. Obviously, you're reaching a considerable amount here on Kincaid, but the thing is, when you're just reaching this much on these stacks, when you're reaching on Kincaid at pick 38, you're reaching on Keon Coleman at 59, there'll be other teams in this tournament that have this same player combo at a cheaper cost. So I think I would have almost preferred like you to either pick your spot, reach on one of these guys, or maybe in round 3, instead of going Kincaid, go DK Metcalf. And then at the 5-6 turn, go Keon Coleman and James Cook. Yeah. I mean, outside of that, I really do like the team. It's just like, and especially if we go Shakir here, 107. It's just that when we go this heavy in on the Buffalo stack, in rounds 3, 4, 5, 9, it does seem like there'll be other people that have components of the same stack at a cheaper cost with better pieces around them. So smooth this over. We're going to take one more receiver. Then outside of that, I have no idea what to do. We need 8 receivers on this team. If we wanted to go with a third QB, we could go Drake May, Parrott, May, and Polk. If we wanted to go with the third tight end, we could go Chig. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go Chig here as a third tight ends, just in case Hawkinson misses. How this would work, and if we want to do some mental gymnastics of why maybe it makes sense. Say, hypothetically, Hawkinson misses the beginning of the season. He misses the first 6 weeks. He's on the PUP. The majority of the Hawkinson builds in this tournament don't really advance. We take the third tight end on the Hawkinson build, so we're able to advance this team to the playoff tournament. And Hawkinson goes nuclear in weeks 15, 16, 17. So I don't know if that's what we should have done. Actually, I think it is. I don't necessarily think we need to go 9 receivers here because I think Chick can kind of outscore these guys. Most likely we're going to go Elijah Moore for the Deshaun Watson, Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore double stack. If we would have had Boyd make it to us, I think we could have mixed in Boyd. I mean, Elijah Moore had over 100 targets last year. Now, obviously, he did absolutely nothing with them, but and the team went out there and they addressed wide receiver this offseason. But if we're trying to tell a story here. Love this. Had to pick Levis for the culture. God, that's funny, my guy. But yeah, we're going to take Elijah. I honestly don't mind this team whatsoever. I think I don't want to say getting better at this because then just tomorrow we're going to draft a horrible one. But thank you again. Of course, I'll be live tomorrow drafting teams. If you want to hop out and come out, draft with us. Be super happy to have you. Super happy to go up against you. And hey, you can find that link, description, comment section, live chat. Code FLOCK, get you hooked up with a 50% deposit bonus up to $250 on Underdog Fantasy. Plus, you'll get our 2024 rankings with code FLOCK. Plus, you'll get set up with a special pick'em. It'll be something like Luka Doncic more than less than half a total points. And also, ladies and gentlemen, Underdog is available in damn near every state. So make sure to take advantage. But thank you so much. Really do appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. Really hope you have a great day. And hope we get to see you out with the live stream tomorrow night.